Simon & Schuster Audio presents The Book of Science and Antiquities, a novel by Thomas Keneally, read by Paul Haley.
Finding Learned. At the time of the discovery of the astonishingly ancient learned man, some decades back, my friend Peter Jorgensen, a scientist from Melbourne, was testing dried lake basins and their sediments for records of ancient rainfall oscillations. In modern times, this area is marginal country in terms of rainfall, and the learned lakes are dry these days. They're not lakes in the European sense, not lakes that assert their lakeness by brimming and thus accommodating the eye. However, the lakes did hold water in the day of learned man, and accommodated his eye. Ironically, 20th century heavy rain had kept Jorgensen bound to the homestead of the old Lake Learned station on that historic day of his discovery. When the rain did stop, and a brightening landscape and a firmer surface presented itself, Jorgensen set off on a motorcycle to investigate the sediments of the long lunette or semicircle of sand dunes and hills which marked the former eastern shore of the lake. After he abandoned the motorcycle and trudged up the hill, he walked over layers of the past, as exposed by millennia of winds and rain. He ascended from the 80,000-year-old sediment level to the 70,000-year-old layer, and so on up to the 50,000-year-old sediments. He was now not far from where, 5 years earlier, he had discovered the remains of a young Homo sapiens woman he'd dubbed Learned Woman, who had, until that day, represented the human who had the oldest formal burial we had knowledge of. Before her flesh was burned off her bones, it had been adorned with ochre, which the sediments around the bones of the woman were full of. This ochre did not come from the lake area, but from hundreds of miles away. It had been deliberately applied in reverence to her. Her remaining bones had been broken up, and even partially ground for whatever cause by her people. But her skull was still intact, to assert her humanity. Dating methods were in their infancy when Learned Woman was found in the early 1970s.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?